At least 8 dead after wireless devices explode across Lebanon, Hezbollah says. Israel did a mass cyber attack on not just like militants, but also political officials as well. Yeah, the injury numbers are over 2,000. Oh my God, it's so fucked up. Israel is begging to go into war in Lebanon. Okay, begging. They dropped flyers to threaten Lebanon with an invasion. They did this shit. It's a mass terror attack. That's what it is, by the way. And it's being celebrated as a fucking epic move. I just want you to understand what they did is a breach of international law. Once again, it is completely illegal. What they did is unconscionable, just a straight up act of terrorism. But of course, that's all Israel does. Israel does as much terrorism as they want to do, and ain't nobody fucking can say a goddamn thing about it. Now, let's take a look at how epic the media is covering this epic act of mass terror.
His Ministry of Public Health says at least 8 people are dead and roughly 2,700 more injured after a number of pagers.
The numbers have increased since this story came out.
Exploded. CCTV shows the moment one explosion happened at a supermarket in Beirut. One man was knocked to the ground. And here's a look at Beirut now, where Hezbollah says the causes of those explosions are still unknown. But they say the pagers were owned.
They're here to debate you whether there's a bomb inside the pagers. No joke. They stunlocked Mike for 1 hour earlier. I'm not a fucking like bomb expert, dude. I don't fucking know if there were bombs in the goddamn pagers or if they like overloaded the pagers enough that they exploded. I don't know. Okay. I have no idea. And I don't even care about whether they actually fucking snuck bombs into the pagers or if they somehow were able to overload the pagers enough that they exploded, because guess what? Either or, it still is an act of fucking terror, like mass terror, with the intent to cause chaos and kill as many people as possible, or at least maim them in a country that Israel is not actively fighting against.
Owned by a number of workers in various Hezbollah units and institutions. I want to bring in foreign correspondent Tom Soufi-Burge in Paris, along with ABC News contributor, former senior CIA field operative Daryl Blocker for more. Tom, what's the latest?
Yeah, Diane, this appears to be a highly sophisticated and widespread attack across...
Yeah, super sophisticated. Israel is fucking small bean, but also very moral and very responsible in the way that they're doing mass terror here in Lebanon, where I'm standing in front of civilians. Very nice.
Lebanon. Lebanon's health ministry now saying 2,750 people injured in this attack, including 200 of those people critically injured. We're seeing video which is too graphic to show you of catastrophic.
Yeah, hey, by the way, if you want to understand whether something is like immoral and unconscionable, imagine if Russia did this in Ukraine. That way, you will very quickly recognize how the media would react. If Russia did this in Ukraine, literally everyone would understandably go, what the f are you doing? This is just mass terrorism. Holy shit. And it's not even in Ukraine, actually. If Russia was doing this in fucking Poland. And we don't actually have to analyze or speculate, because guess what? Russia does do this to their own political dissidents every now and then. Never to this degree, never this widespread, actively targeting thousands of people that are like among civilians, you know what I mean?
Catastrophic injuries to a number of individuals in multiple hospitals across Lebanon. They're saying that 8 people have been killed in the attack, including a 10-year-old girl. We've had now 2 statements from Hezbollah, that Iranian-backed proxy group based in Lebanon. They are saying 2 of their members are amongst the 8 people.
Okay, first of all, it's not just a proxy group based in Lebanon. It's also a fucking political party, dude. What the f? Oh my God. Well, Hezbollah is a terrorist organization. Dog, if Hezbollah is a terrorist organization, America is the top terrorist organization, which it is, by the way. America is the top dog in terrorism, and so is Israel. No, what you meant to say is Hezbollah is Muslim. So, of course, as they're Muslim, it's different. It's so funny to say, well, Hezbollah is a terrorist organization when we are covering a story about Israel openly taking credit over exploding fucking pagers directly in a country that they're not in war with right now around civilians. Like, you would justify 9/11 if Israel did it to another country, straight up at that point. They killed a fucking 8-year-old, man, or a 10-year-old.
Killed in this attack, and Hezbollah is saying that what happened is at about 3:30 in the afternoon local time in Lebanon, pager devices, remember those are devices that can receive messages but not calls, effectively exploded. So members of Hezbollah carrying pagers, we've seen videos confirming this, that appear to show individuals looking down towards what.
There are certain rules about like how you can conduct international war. And the rules are there so that it doesn't happen to you either. You can't always run with the assumption that like our guns are better, our cyber terrorism is better, so we get to do it and they get to do nothing in return. This is one of those rules. You cannot mass explode communication devices used by fucking civilians. De facto terrorism, since many of the people whose pagers were blown up are not military targets, but civilian members of the political wing of Hezbollah, and the chaos it caused, for example, if the victims were driving or in a crowded area, it could mean more random civilian deaths. It's directly an act of terrorism in not a war zone, mind you. You can just say that they're Muslim, so they deserved it all day, every day, but it doesn't fucking matter. I'm from Lebanon. The pagers are available for everyone. My cousin had one too. He works as a nurse. Fortunately, she did not hold it in her hands. The absolute majority of casualties are civilians, over 4,000 already. I don't care about Hezbollah members. No civilian would use a pager, dog. Are you fucking stupid, dude? What do you mean no civilian would use a pager? The civilians that use pagers are doctors and nurses, you fucking idiot. Hospitals still use them, you dumb Bro, I get it. In order to defend the Israeli genocide and the Israeli apartheid regime, like, you have to basically fucking bludgeon your head multiple times in an effort to arrive at a position that what Israel is doing is good. But, like, you can't be this stupid. It's not indistinguishable from terrorism, says Sturgeon's Law. There is no better way to describe it. Here's Edward Snowden's take on it, and here's Yusuf's take on it as well. Yusuf Munayer. The apparent Israeli mass cyber attack in Lebanon that detonated cellular devices and pagers is a grave violation of international human law and opens a dangerous Pandora's box. Almost every human is a walking, ticking bomb, and it won't be long before this tech will be used by many actors. That's the other side of this process. How long before dissidents targeted by Putin, Modi, KSA, Iran, Israel, and many others fall prey to such an assassination tactic? No need to poison tea anymore. Parents in Lebanon, just like parents all over the world, let their kids play with their phones from time to time. How many Lebanese kids did Israel blow up today with their gimmicks? What Israel has done is, via any method, reckless. They blow up countless numbers of people who were driving, meaning cars out of control, shopping. Your children are in a stroller standing behind them in the checkout line. Indistinguishable from terrorism because it is terrorism. It's not indistinguishable from terrorism. It is an act of terror. As information comes in about the exploding beepers in Lebanon, it seems now more likely that not to be implanted explosives, not a hack. Why? Too many consistent, very serious injuries. If it were overheated batteries exploding, you'd expect many more small fires and misfires. Sky News Arabia reports that the pagers were packed with a small amount of PETN, which was detonated by raising battery temperatures. So it seems like, at least according to Sky News Arabia, initial sources say that there was a quantity of highly explosive PETN that was placed on the device's battery and detonated by raising the battery's temperature. So this was more targeted than just like simply exploding the hundreds of thousands of pagers that are in use. Okay, and it's obviously not just like a battery explosion. However, the issue in this process is people fucking give away pagers. And not only that, but also people are driving cars. People are fucking, at the checkout line at the grocery store. When you're exploding fucking pagers randomly, you're killing a lot of people, including an 8-year-old. People are flying fucking planes. Like, imagine a Hezbollah dude in Lebanon, a political operative, a civilian, right? Not a militant, but a political operative is on a fucking airplane. That airplane could be flying over any territory. That fucking pager explodes inside of that airplane. Not a small plane, like a straight up commercial airline. How many fucking civilians does Israel kill in that process? Al Jazeera saying that the pagers in the Israeli attack were indeed packed with explosives and were imported into Lebanese territory 5 months ago. And Axios says that the decision was made by the Israeli state to detonate the pagers a week ago. They're fucking flexing. They want to go to war with Lebanon. So they're trying to gear up for this war with Lebanon. They want to invade Lebanon. I don't know if you already covered this, but there were pagers that exploded in doctors' possessions. Yeah, of course. It makes fucking sense, dude. It makes total perfect sense. Like, you have no way of sneaking in pagers specifically for Hezbollah. You know that, right? And even if you did have a way of sneaking it and just giving it to only Hezbollah militants, generals, okay? You have no way of knowing that they're not around fucking random civilians. Like, what the fuck are we talking about? The cost of life is nothing for so many people, I think. As long as you're just, you know, a criminal automatically for being born in Lebanon, you're just a, you know, an unforeseeable consequence. Like, sorry, it's just collateral damage. Like, what the This is a mass act of terrorism. And it won't be long until this is used in a similar capacity against others who don't have the OPSEC for it, including but not limited to Israel. Yeah, blindsiding America as usual. The operation was approved earlier this week during security meetings with Prime Minister Netanyahu, senior members of his cabinet, and the heads of the security services. Israel didn't inform the Biden administration ahead of time. They can do whatever they want. No rules. No holds barred. This guy says political members of a military organization are legitimate targets. In fact, political members of organizations are more legitimate targets than the actual militants. One, international law doesn't sanction this idea. Two, Hezbollah's political operatives aren't political members of a military organization. They are the political party. Hezbollah is not itself a military organization. The political and paramilitary wings are separate entities. The separation in that situation is more apparent than even like the distinction between an American politician and the American military. Actually, it's not that different. It's the identical almost. Like, there was a dude that was caught on fucking tape, dude. He was in the supermarket. He's in the grocery store. Do you think this is all right? Think about it, dude. Think about it. Like, a bomb just explodes when you're at fucking checkout at you know, Walmart because the dude in front of you bought a fucking dud pager. Like, you think that's all right? It fucking maims your daughter. It maims your son. You think that's you would be like, this is appropriate? No, you would not. You would not consider it to be appropriate at all. The only reason why you think it's permissible is because the victims are brown, dude. That's it. And no, for the record, you just said, if this doesn't outrage the public, our future isn't looking great. It's not going to, because the media is already celebrating how brilliant this is. Blowing up Hezbollah pagers would have been a game changer in an all-out war in Israel's favor, but they wasted this stunt now to try and put off a war they know they can't win. Israel's losing Gaza. The north is empty and Hezbollah is systematically destroying it. Netanyahu will do anything to secure any sort of victory to satisfy his rabid base. Even after this attack, Israel didn't achieve any of their main goals. That's the other part of this. If they were to do this in the midst of like an operation, in the midst of like an on-the-ground, like straight-up invasion, that would be one thing. It would still be a foul act of terror, but at least it would actually have strategic importance. And I wouldn't put it past Israel to do that. Having said that, not only is this an act of terror, an overt act of terror in violation of international laws, it also was meaningless. It was just a flex to be like, hey guys, I know that we're not in favor anymore. Like, our intelligence community is not what it once was, but like, we still got it.
What appears to be a pager device and then the explosion. This appears to have been very widespread across multiple regions across Lebanon. And one of the victims, significantly, Diane, is, according to Iranian state TV, Iran's ambassador to Lebanon. So that's highly significant. Israel has not commented on this attack as things stand. We know, of course, for years, Israel has been conducting a shadow war against Iranian proxies in the region, including Hezbollah. And of course, it's been trading attacks across its northern border into southern Lebanon with Hezbollah for the best part of a year throughout the warring, as the war in Gaza continues. Israel does not comment on the attacks it can.
Hezbollah member, son of terror group MP. That means it was a politician, okay? As in, they exploded the pager of an MP, but a terror group MP, but an MP nonetheless. It's like killing a congressperson and their son or daughter. A Reuters story from July details how Hezbollah, in the aftermath of Israel killing one of its top commanders, shifted even further away from cell phone communication. Hezbollah, Reuters reported at the time, was opting to go with the low-tech route of pagers. Cell phones, which can be used to track a user's location, have been banned from the battlefield in favor of more old-fashioned communication, including pagers and couriers who deliver verbal messages in person, two of the sources said. Death toll officially is up to 11 and 4,000 wounded, like maimed. Wounded doesn't just mean like, oh, you have scratches, okay? It means like your shit got blown off, your hand, your arm.
Conducts in its near abroad, but the finger of suspicion, given the sophisticated nature of this attack, will be pointed towards Israel. And Hezbollah, in a second statement I've just received, is now saying that it holds Israel responsible and that this attack will not go, in its words, unpunished.
And Daryl, how does this even work? How do you turn a wireless device like a pager?
Yeah, we'll find out more about this. But by the way, like, there is no assurances that the pagers that you're selling only stay in the hands of Hezbollah. That's the other part of this process. Now, a more ethical thing you could possibly do in that situation is to put trackers in the fucking pagers and trace the pagers and ensure that they know where these guys are, where Hezbollah militants are, whatever. But no, they don't want to do that because they want to blow shit up, because they don't give a fuck, because they know that no matter what happens, the Western media will back them. And also, the devices apparently were programmed to beep for several seconds before exploding, according to the officials who spoke on the condition of anonymity because of the sensitivity of the matter. Why would you want to do that? Well, it's because if it's on your desk and it starts beeping, you pick it up and you look at it so it fucking blows up in your face. Just so you understand the gross nature of this attack. Like intercepting a supply chain and fucking adding plastic explosives like the chemicals used for like Semtex is just unimaginable, dude. I am shocked at the cruelty of this. This has to be considered a war crime. Yes, of course it's a war crime. But with Israel, it's basically yet another war crime that it gets to do. And not a single person will say anything about it. And if you do say something about it, you're a fucking idiot. And you should shut the fuck up because they deserve it. And that it is totally valid, totally permissible. Fuck you for ever saying anything. And now we get to do Fortnite dances on the corpses of fucking, Lebanese children too. Can this be the final straw? No, dude. At this point, I'm going to be honest with you. Israel could fucking nuke Lebanon and they still wouldn't consider that to be far too much. Straight up. It's a terrifying prospect, but I legitimately believe this. Like, that's in the middle of a supermarket, man. That's crazy. Like, you're fucking out of your goddamn mind. And that's the one that we have, like, direct footage of. There's kids there. There's elderly people there. What are you talking about? There's a kid in the shot. And fucking ultra-Zionists are gloating on Twitter about this. They're like, hell yeah, baby. They're doing it. We
Devices,
did the damn thing.
Small pieces of debt cord inside of these things would be very, very difficult for 2,700 devices. So I think with time, we'll learn a little bit more.
All right, Tom Sufi Burridge, Daryl Blocker, thank you.